Alright, hello everyone. My name is Joe Score. Someone channel's called Ethernet Link. Haven't posted on this in a minute. Been pretty busy with school and work, all that garbage, but now we're back here. We're gonna make a quick little video, and I'm gonna show you guys how I screen for stocks, because at first I was gonna be like, alright, I'm just gonna make another another video about stocks I'm looking at for the week, but I figured I'd throw it all into one because I was wanting to do this anyway. So the first thing I would do is I come over to Finviz. Actually, let me make my face smaller so you can see all of them. There we go. So I come over to Finviz. First thing I do is set the country to USA, and I set the market cap to plus min over 2 billion. Next, this is the first thing I would do. I would come over here, see if we have any doji candles. We have no gravestone dojis. We have one dragonfly. Oh, and it's at the bottom. So then when you find a name that you like, you come over to here, you throw it into TradingView so you can get some better technicals up. If it'll load, there it is. Yeah, this looks all right. This looks pretty good. So now we're gonna come back over. We're gonna click on this actually. We're gonna click on it. There it is. All right, so we see now what I'm looking at over here is I'm looking to see insider and institutional transactions, either positive or not too low. This one's not too low. Target price is above it, and multiples look fine. Most recent one we have is an upgrade, and down here, insider stuff, pretty whatever. We actually have more buying pressure and selling pressure on the insider front. So let's get back to the chart now. Let's go into a 4-hour. Yeah, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. Throw the algo on. We see that we had a nice short leg, and now it's getting a little exhausted. Let's look at the algo on the 1-day. Yeah, pretty much at the bottom of the supply zone. I'm liking this. I'm liking this quite a bit. It's going to 2. Yep, on the 2-hour, we got some good structure forming. Let's see a break above. We could get to 37 on this name, I think. So, yeah, let's leave that, and let's try and look for some more. So now let's go check out regular dojis, and then sort them by market cap. Now with this, you have to make sure that you don't get something like this. Look at that run up. I don't want to touch something that had a run up like that. Same thing with Netflix. That's not something ideal. Yeah, I don't want to touch that, even though that is a doji. I know that Hershey's been smashing all-time highs. Yeah, get away from me. So this one doesn't look too bad. It's a semiconductor, so let's go up over here. KLAC. Alright. Bring it over to the super charts. First thing I'm seeing is a bear flag. Yeah. How does it look on the 4? No thanks. Yeah, no thank you. It's a lot of judgment, because you can't be afraid to say no to the stock, you know what I mean? This isn't Tinder. We gotta be picky. You understand me? So I saw a few good ones. RS doesn't look bad. I kind of like how it's a sort of a defensive name. That actually looks pretty good because we had 2 in a row. Yeah. Yeah, 2 in a row right at support. The daily oscillator looks good. 4-hour, the oscillator looks decent. Um, Either playing it 2 or playing the break of that, I would like. Yeah, it's got a lot of stuff overhead, but I feel like if you get break above that, that would be a pretty good indication for about 250. So that one actually doesn't look that bad at all. We'll keep that one up there. And then this is the other one I saw, BTO. Actually, not really, because that kind of looks like a bear flag, and it just looks like it did it really quickly for me. Um, Besides that, both of these don't look bad at all. Wow, a lot of what's weird to me is that these are all in the same industry. So now, what that's making me think is, let me check out the industrial. me see what this has been doing. And this seems to be holding up pretty decently, yeah. Yeah, industrial seem to be holding up decently well. Filled a gap right there, a small one, but still filled it, not very nice. It looks decent, right? It doesn't look great, it doesn't look bad. On the 4 hour, one could say that's a nice base, the other one could say that it's setting up for another leg down. I'm not too sure. Let me look at this on the 2. Because you can kind of look at this, you understand me, or you can look at it. Actually, that's a bit of a stretch, I think. But what makes the most sense to me would just be something like this, and we're holding at the bottom end of that range. Oh wait, this is one that I just found from just checking things out, checking out names I could remember, and it's On Semi. On looks great. Yeah, On looks so good. This is one of those names that I would be happy to hold it. Actually, this doesn't look that great at all. I don't really like the rejection of that. But yeah, short again, but break and hold of 75 looks like a very low risk move to 57. Looking on the 2, that's a lot of moving averages ahead of it. Check out even the technicals, see what the moving averages are. Yeah, the chart looks good on like the bigger time frames, you know what I mean? So if we look at this on the weekly, look at how good that looks on the weekly. Bottom end of the range, dip by. Yeah, a lot of these look decent for small moves, and that's okay. We just take whatever the market could give us, especially when we have stocks like On and Match. Maybe not RS because it's expensive, $240 a share. But a lot of these look like they could do something. But now I want to check out these industrials again. Let's look at AME because it's the cheapest out of the bunch, and the market cap is very similar between the two, or between the 3, 4, however many. This is what I do. You know what I mean? Whenever I'm looking for stocks to trade, this is what I'm doing in my room. So it's been working relatively well recently. So I'm just showing my process. Again, like they all look just a little decent. Like, how would I want to play this one? Well, I'd have a stop at 133 if I were to be in it right now. I'd like this hold at this level right here. I'd have a stop below break of the structure, and I would be looking for a move to 138. And that's not a terrible risk to reward, but it just looks like there could be better names. Match is probably my favorite right now, looking at all of these, mainly because of it's because of this. This is the only thing I don't like about it. Is that on the daily? It doesn't really matter too much because look at this isn't the best example. It's not the best example. Not very good examples. I don't know what I was really trying to look for. It match is low. Wasn't this in the hundreds at one point? Yeah. Wow, it's below COVID. That's crazy. Yeah, there's something going on here. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on here. Yeah, because these moving averages are freaking out. See, so just based off of the price action, this looks great. We look like we can make a little double bottom right there and get a nice little continuation. Not even have to take profits at like 37 or something like that. This one's a good risk to reward because you could literally risk about $1.40. Actually, let's get the thing up here. Boom, you're in right now. break of that, and then to the moving average, 5%, 5, almost 6% to 4%. It's not terrible. There's definitely worse things out there. Oh, it's gotta be that. Yeah, Q2 2022. Yeah, they're having some bumpiness. EPSs on here, but let's keep looking because now I'm gonna order them in like my favorite ones on the other side. These industrials just look a little weird. Definitely gonna have to look at the Dow later. Okay, I only like to look at the biggest companies when I look at just the candlesticks. So now let's look at some other metrics I would pay attention to. So what would I do? I would set this to under 40. I would make sure I got the market cap in order. And most of the time, you end up just seeing companies like Apple, Google, Berkshire, Tesla, companies like that. But the reason that you want to do this is so that way Tesla looks good. Is so that way when you take a trade, you're not taking it. It's easier to hold when you're down. You know what I mean? So because being down 1% on Tesla and being down 1% on some random company no one's ever heard of are two different things. You know what I mean? So there's definitely that in there. Tesla actually looks like it has a crazy bear flag. Yeah, Tesla looks like it's setting up for a short. Tesla looks like it's gonna have another push, maybe even to the top of the range to 215. Who knows? Kind of a nice little break, nice little breakdown, fill that gap probably. And that's something else I want to pay attention to on this SPY, is that the gap on this thing is crazy. So that's also making me really, really skeptical to trade because I got it down here. We spot the little wedge. This is on the daily chart. We spot the little wedge. We get the breakout, which actually looked terrible in the morning. What was it? I think it was on either the two. Yeah, because you just get boom, rejection, engulfing, then continuation. Actually, if you were trading off of that, that's pretty beautiful because this red candle, even at the high, that's not confirmation. So that actually looks pretty decent. Trading on the 4, I don't know if I would take that hammer candle, but I'd take it on the 2. Anyways, we get on the daily, we see the wedge, we see the continuation, we see the move to the resistance. We also see the bigger wedge that we're in right now, that when we break out of this will probably kickstart another bull market. News allowing, pushes to 450, 440, shit like that could happen. And the only thing that has to happen first is a gap fill right there to 396. I'm not seeing anybody talk about this, which makes me believe more and more that it will happen, because it's kind of frustrating. We're still very green on most things. We're in a bit of a demand zone, meeting a supply zone, so big and decisive behavior right there. The cloud looks good, but I just not the volume. This one. Even we have the oscillator kind of topping out. It's getting a little. It's not making higher bars. So that's the only thing that worries me a little bit, because of course if the SPY pushes up, Tesla's going to push up, XLI is going to push up. These things are going to happen. Companies like On and Match, decent sized companies like Match is worth 10 billion. On is worth 32 billion. So of course when the overall market pushes up, companies like this will push up as well. Yeah, On looks so good when you take away the technicals. From a technical aspect, this looks terrible. From a price action standpoint, this looks amazing. So we're gonna wait and see how it goes, especially because, again, it's a semiconductor company. So when you look at companies like Nvidia, that look awful. Because look at the run she had. I'm gonna get rid of these other ones. I was making fucking support and resistance down here. That's crazy. Remove Atrons. So when you have when you have this rising support like that, and then you have the top end of it. I'm gonna cut off those top wicks. Actually, well, there's two ways you could draw this one. You could draw it like this. You could draw it like that, but they both get the point across, I think. Because when you see a wedge like this, it's just, you just don't really want to be long. Because we still have a gap at 211. What the name of the game right now is still in gaps. That's how many gaps get filled in the market. No gaps are not always filled. I love this so much sometimes. Let's see what it says. It doesn't always need to fill, but it does. You know what I mean? Like, let's look on NVIDIA. Let's try and find a gap that never filled. Nope, right there, filled. Right here, it ended up filling in the upside. Further back, filled pretty soon. Up there, it ended up filling. Up here, it ended up filling. Did we get? And oh, this could be interesting to think about. So there's no gaps above. There's no gaps above 258. We're topping out pretty much at 280. That's not that much higher from it. So we filled the gap, pushed a little bit further, and now we could come back down. And also we fill this gap back there. You could do the same thing on the spot. Boom, filled. Filled. Oh, that's not a gap. Filled. Filled. This one got filled. Not filled yet. Look at that, not filled yet. These ones got filled, not on me. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. I was invested during this? That's crazy. I like don't even remember shit that happens. 13%. Yeah. But that's the name of the game right now for me. And that's why it's hard for me to want to take some trades. Because it looks beautiful. But even right here. Come on. You know what I mean? Like the gap right there. So that's why it's hard for me to take some trades right now. Because like this one probably looks the best. If I were to take one, it would be match because the risk reward is so good. Because I spend $1,000 on it, I'd get 25 shares. So you either let me get back to you either make. I'm assuming I'm in right now just for ease. You either make about $50 or you lose about 20, 30. $30. You know what I mean? That's decent for a share trade. That's not terrible if you were to do it with $1,000. Now, one thing I'm actually not gonna get rid of that, but one thing I'm also looking at are some penny stocks. Just because I think if the market has its little moment, that people might turn their attention to some of these. Say we could get 20 cents on Cooler here if it comes up to the next supply zone. You know what I mean? Just don't be greedy and just take it at the top of this. I want to look at Rocket Lab again. Rocket Lab is back down to the other end of the range. This company should be worth at least $6 a share, in my opinion. We can look at companies like SoFi, looking decent. I remember trading this. This was a pretty good one. PLTR had some good news, but of course the stock went down because it's Palantir. Wow, that's ridiculous. But yeah, that's the name of the game for me right now, would be the gaps. So if I were to pick 3 stocks to watch, wouldn't even really pay attention to this one because if okay, 3 stocks to watch for the video. Match on an RS if we break and hold 244.77. This is not financial advice, by the way. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Should have said that at the beginning, but saying it now. Don't copy anything you see on this channel. But those would be the only ones because when we look at XLI, where else could we draw this? You've done nothing for so long. That's kind of crazy. So, could even just like think about things like this to make them players later on in the stock's life. You know what I mean? Could even do things like that, so that way you have some sort of reference to pay attention to in the future. I did that on JP Morgan and it ended up working pretty decently. But if I were to play XLI, or any industrial for that matter, I would probably play the index just for honestly entry costs. Is a little cheaper. It doesn't move as much though, so that would be a negative, but neither really does any other things really. But so those would be 3 stocks for me to look at during the day or during the week. Match on an RS. It's already a 20-minute video, damn it. But let's get rid of some of these. Get rid of that. Get rid of SPY. And everything else we can get down here. And of course, just some tech names that I like. Could look at CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike looks like it's gonna. I'm a little biased. I want it to come back down to here. If it comes back down to 120, I'm in this hoe. So ridiculously hard. 120, 118. I'm in that bit. Enphase. This is the one. This is the one I want. This is the one I want. Look at her, man. You just kind of rearrange the triangle, make it work for the current setup you have. Because we're traders, not artists. Look at this, man. Now this is something I could get behind. Yeah, this really is something I could get behind. I like this quite a bit. I do like this quite a bit. Let's look at some other technicals. It's freaking the hell out right now. That's so funny. But this is one of those things, this is one of those stocks that if it goes, it'll just go. You know what I mean? There's no rhyme or reason for it to do really much of anything. But it's one of those companies, like, if it wants to go, it's gonna go. And there's nothing that we could do about it. So how would I play this? How would you play this, Joe? I'll tell you. I'd break it down on the 2 or the 1. My God, that looks awful. This is hard to play. It's hard to play because we like the name, not the price action. It's the opposite of on. It's the opposite of on. This would be one of those things because like there's no reason why I can't be at $200. So this would be one of those names. Well, we see right here. We got a little something going on. We got a little wedge at the bottom, and we are. That don't look terrible. Yeah, seeing some. This would be a play because I like the name so much and I know the name can move. This would be one of those things for me where I would buy a small start position, right? So that we have room to average into it. You know what I mean? If I'm at 190, I buy in, I would average at 187. And then if I break below, it's Enphase. You know what I mean? This is one of those things where it's easy to save the trade. Because it's a name that we like so much. Look at Look at her, man. So this is one of those things. I could buy a small entry position without feeling like a jackass because of it, especially because we're holding up this 190 level. But then if we see breakout confirmation of over here, that pretty much just confirms for me that we could go a hell of a lot higher. Especially because we see in the oscillators and stuff like that, it's just kind of, it could start to roll over. That's just something that we could look at. Never really has before making a new, right there, before making a lower low. But end phase around this price is pretty crazy, so it's definitely at least something to keep the eye on. CrowdStrike and end phase are always going to be great stocks to play. Okta is one where I saw something and I can't get it out of my head. Look at this. If you don't know what this line is, it's the space in between over here. So you put that to where it broke, and the stock will probably end up a little bit above that. So the end of it is 156, or maybe it stops at 160, or the bottom end of the range is at 57. Maybe it stops at 60. You know what I mean? That's how you would think about that. But just look at this, man. And even we have a gap, another gap over here. Why? And we have a big gap down here. But why so many gaps? Why so many gaps yet to be filled? That's what I'm wondering. And we can see in RS right here. I'll put down some lines. We can see this level, and I'll just do levels for right now. We can see that level. You can see this one, this one, this one. I don't like that much, but it's okay. And then we could see moon like that. And so you could think to yourself, you have a little rising right there. And if you want to do the profit target thing, go to the bottom touch point, do that, come up here, think to yourself, top end 280, so 272. And then you could even go back here. You could type in RS, and you can see that target price is around 260. So it's just one of those things. I like it a lot because it is an aluminum company, you know what I mean? Brazilian steel and aluminum. So that is why I like it. It could be considered a defensive stock, a defensive company. You can see 2022 had a great year, actually. Technicals, we see in the weekly, we got some pressure behind us. But just a lot of these companies on the smaller time frames, it looks pretty terrible. But so what would I want someone to take away from this half-hour video for some reason? Would be, we got a lot of gaps, we got a lot of things to pay attention to, but it's up to you to determine if you're early or if you're wrong. Because you can be wrong and not early, but you can be early and not wrong. So it's up to you to determine which one, because are you early to take a position right here in RS, or are you wrong? Are you early to take a position right here in ON, or are you wrong? And that depends on a lot of things. Match, are you early or are you wrong? Those are the things that you have to pay attention to as a trader. Those are the questions you have to ask yourself. And it's not about picking the right stock. It's about putting yourself in a good position. So you got to think to it, because we don't know what's going to happen. We just have to put ourselves in a good position. So you think to yourself, match is right damn next to 52-week lows. I can have a stop at a new 52-week low or not. The upside is pretty high. You can think to yourself like that. You can think on, hit a new all-time high, and it's a bit below that, and the pattern looks great. You can think RS, hit a new all-time high, it's a bit below that, and the pattern looks great. And it's at the bottom end of a range. That's the thing. That's the thing, man, because at the end of the day, what you could also do is this. You could also just play this damn thing, because believe me, if we get, come on, you can do it. If we get good price action around the 410 area, and we even go up to 418, like, what am I gonna do? Fucking be upset, piss my pants because I missed an entry. No, I should probably get into some starter positions. I should probably get a little exposed. The only exposure I have right now is a cash secure put 96% in profit. You know what I mean? So that's all. But the stocks I would look at: RS, On, Match, and Enphase. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something new. I hope you guys got a new understanding about how you guys could use some tools that are free for you. If you're interested in the algorithm at all for buy and sell, I will link it in the description. My mentor made it, great guy, go support him, and the algo can definitely help you in your trading. For the kind of swings that I like, just kind of how I would use it. Let's say, how would I use it to make an entry? I would use it on the break of 244 and wait for a green dot at the bottom. Like, where's the green dot? One of these little green dots. Wait for one of those. That's your entry point. And then sell whenever it flips. That's how it works. Very simple. But yeah, 4 stocks that you should not buy because this is not financial advice. RS, On, Match, and Enphase. And hope you guys learn a little bit more about my system. I'm going to do this again in the future sometimes. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Joe Scorson. The channel's called Ethernet Wink. And I'm out of here.